Hello again, this is Apocrypha from APOC Industries, here with another episode of Tundra Terror. So when we last left off, we had just set up some paths over here, and we were planning on setting up some smelting columns right over here. I don't really have any plans yet on where, for example, to set up a bus or how to lay out this factory at all in general. But what we are going to look at today is hopefully setting up some automated mining and some smelting columns. So I notice right now that something's wrong here. Oh, there we go. Helps if you actually point your miners in the right direction, doesn't it? Of course it does. Okay, make sure everything's topped up before we get going. Also, yet again, make sure our mouse is in the right setting. Okay, get all these topped up. Grab some circuits. Use some stuff. Science is good. Currently researching bullet damage. Gonna need some transport belts. Oh, wow, okay, we've got a lot of transport belts. That's fantastic. And we also have a lot of green circuits, and we have just run out of power, which probably means that we ran out of coal up here, which is great because we have tons of coal. So, the first thing that I'm going to set up is a coal delivery belt for our smelters, so that for our boilers, so that we don't get this problem again. And we are going to do that this way. How many of these can we fit? So we can run basically a group like this. We can run 10 of these, I think. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then maybe we could do the same sort of thing on the other side. Think about that. Look at that, cute. Let's do that. We'll take this, leave this junk off, and spin it around, and we'll do something like this. I think that will be very nice. Yeah. So we can take the water up this way. Cool. So what we'll do then is... Oh, do I not have undergrounds? I don't have iron plates. That's going to be a problem. But in the meantime, we are going to start thinking about how to get coal up here. Coal is the first thing that we need for setting up smelting lanes anyway, so it will not hurt to get our coal mining set up first. We have 10 miners, so let's just slap them down somewhere. How about right here? I'll just do 6 to start out. That should be plenty without wasting too much in terms of resources. I still need to have more undergrounds. I am going to need some splitters, so might as well just make some. I definitely have the transport belts to support it, because I have like 700 transport belts or something right now. And that's going to cut through the stone, which we kind of don't want it to do. Maybe we'll take the coal up on the inside of this path here, which actually makes me think maybe instead of doing this, we will run it this way and up alongside the path here. And then perhaps this would be a good place somewhere in here to split it off for our smelter when we get to that. Oh no, we got rocks in the way. Chop, chop, chop the rock. We also have more rocks in the way. We're very fortunate that we didn't get attacked by those biters, but we aren't going to hold our breath here. The biters will surely come. And move this out of the way a little bit. Out there. That looks good. You get a little bit of ammo. There. And continuing. Let's actually get these miners hooked up with some power before we go too much further. I'm going to take my power from here, follow the same pattern that we have been doing. I feel like these are awfully close to the path, but that's where they are, so that's where they're gonna stay. This is fine. And we're gonna go boink, boink, and boink. Did we research lights? We did! Hooray, lights! Alright. I always like to have my miners lit. Oops. I mean, you know, you actually have to put your lights in power. Surprise, surprise. We do still need to keep these up and running for a little while yet, until we have our smelting line set up. But that won't be too long from now. Oh, now that I think about it, we are probably going to actually want to split that off this way, because our smelter is going to be over there. You're still making stuff? Yes, we are. And we still got tons of bricks, which is good. And we're going to run into some trees, aren't we? Yes, we are. That's okay, we know what to do with trees. We chop them. What I'm going to do is move this here, take my considers, put them there, or splitters, and I'm going to split off the coal for these boilers here. I don't need to use a splitter there right now, but in the long run I will eventually have another coal line coming up through here, so I might as well just set the splitter now so I don't have to later. And now we can get rid of this, we can get rid of this, we're going to get rid of this, and go boink, and now we have an actual supply of automated coal for our boilers, which is great. I'm also going to slap this guy because those biters... Oh no! Oh no, we have biters that are in our pollution cloud. We should go take care of them. Well, one thing at a time. I also need to bump up our power production, but again, one thing at a time. The first thing that I want to do is get an iron smelting column set up, because then we can have access to more iron, and in general, more iron is going to be more better. I do have a blueprint for a smelting column, but I'm just going to build it from scratch so that you can see how they get built, and kind of the thought that goes into them. What I do need, however, is about 1 billion inserters, so we are going to make a lot of inserters. We have a lot of furnaces, which is fantastic. I'm gonna run down here, grab the rest of this iron. We are also going to need some more miners for when we, you know, deliver, like, when we're actually making the mine to feed the smelter. Get my head on straight here. We're doing okay for belts right now, so maybe I'll just cap this at 200. Okay, so we've got 80 inserters. Should be enough for at least a little bit. I am going to actually make a little bit more ammo as well. because I feel like we're going to need it. And also make sure these are topped up. Okay, we have a ton of copper. We are going to slap all of that into something. Don't know what yet. Here, you take some copper, you take some copper. That's fine. I need to stop picking up copper so much at the time being. So we are going to build our smelting column. Let's say we want the extent of it to be here-ish. We need a row for our inserters, and that means that that's where our furnaces are going to be. So the idea here is that we're going to take our coal input, which is probably going to come through right about here. Oops, we do not have red undergrounds yet. What am I doing? So this will be where our coal comes in. And then we'll have our other inputs coming in elsewhere. So our coal will do a little jump like this, and a little thing like this. This is going to move on to the next smelter. This might be a little bit too close. Yeah, we'll move this out a little bit. Where's my blueprint? This is where it gets helpful to have nanobots, which we haven't researched yet, but we probably will soon once we get a couple of smelters set up. Because I could just move this and all more easily. Okay, let's give ourselves some room there. Okay, so our coal is going to come in here. These two splitters, what they do is they make it so that the coal that is coming in from here is going to go into this splitter, and it is going to, I don't have any coal, of course. Let me just go grab some and I can show you. I also shouldn't be walking across the snow, but whatever. Wait, I do have a little coal. Whoops. Whatever. It's fine. Okay, I'm actually going to grab maybe... Got some stone. I can use some stone to demonstrate. I'll be fine. Excuse me. Got some allergies. Yeah. Let's see. We will have our coal coming in like this, coming in on both sides of the belt. Pick this stuff up. And this arrangement of belts and splitters makes it so that the coal is always going to be on one side of the belt, and we are going to have our input on the other side. Like, let's say, just as an example, let's say that we're putting some stone in here, which, wow, that did not go in at all. Our stone is coming in like this, which means that this belt is going to run down along the side of all of these furnaces, and we will have inserters like this that are going to grab coal to drop in here for fuel. They're going to grab stone to drop in here to cook. Then we'll have another couple of inserters that are outputting onto an output line. And yeah, this will feed into wherever we need our resources to go. Before we get too deep into that, we're basically just going to let this be where our resources stockpile. It's not going to be stone here, though, although we will set up a smelting line for stone. This is going to be iron. And we are going to start small with 6 on either side, which would be 12 total, which is probably going to be sufficient for our needs for now. It'll definitely be a lot more than these paltry little burner miners that we have set up here. See any more biters? There's some more up here. That's alright. It's fine. So we are going to pull this back over so that we can start getting our coal in. We also have a ton of bricks, so we are... Okay. We also have a ton of bricks, so we are going to put bricks all through here so that it's fun to walk on. And there we go. We are going to set the output priority to the left for our coal input. That means that our power is always going to be what gets priority for our coal, because if our smelters, first of all, they don't use that much coal, but second of all, it's much more important for us to have power than it is for us to have, coal or the smelters running. Because the smelters won't run if they don't have power. Imagine. So just gonna put on a little bit of flooring here. And we'll extend this as we go, but I'm just going to put in a little bit for now. There we go. Oh no, I missed some. There we go. So there we go. Our coal is coming in. Obviously, one thing that we're missing here is electricity. In order for all of the inserters to be powered, this is kind of just the standard way that I build my my smelting columns. We are going to take these up over this way in a nice way. There we go. And we're going to hook it up to our power through here. So you'll notice that our inserters are now hard at work putting coal into our furnaces, which is awesome. That's exactly what we want them to be doing. We get all these set up. They're not outputting anything yet, however, because we don't have anything feeding this. So now we're going to go and set up our iron mine to be able to output some stuff. These are starting to run out of coal, so I'm just going to basically uproot all this stuff now and replace it with electric miners. We have 9 of them. I'm going to build another 3 so that we can have 12. I hear that our science is finished, so what else do we need? Let's start getting the nanobots. That might be helpful. The other option, I think, at this point would be electronics. Yeah, okay, let's get electronics to get us towards the assembly machine too, because that's something that we need to set up green science automation. Because the assembly machine 1 can only craft items that require 2 ingredients. The assembly machine 2 can craft items that have 4 ingredients. And the inserters that you need for green science packs, they take 3 ingredients. So we're going to grab electronics, and yeah, we're also just going to wait for these to finish. Okay, no, we're not. We're just going to grab them, and we can dump the ore somewhere else. Oh no! Speaking of dumping, I have way too much stuff. But that's okay. I'm going to dump that in our smelter. So there we go. There we go. You can get kick-started with a little bit of iron. There. Perfect. And now I'll actually be able to hopefully pick up the rest of that. I'm going to bring the iron up through here because I want to. That's really the reason. I'm going to make a path though, because walking on snow, as we've discussed, is extremely annoying. Make sure this is lined up. There we go. We don't like having rocks on our paths either. And we've just expended our pickaxe. That's fine, we'll just make another one. Yeah, so the last thing that we're going to do today is quickly set up an iron mine here. I'm not going to be too particular about where exactly this is in relation to the whole mine. So, like, usually I would take more care in like making sure that the edges of the miners are going to line up with the edge of the patch, the ore patch. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. Okay, our iron is now hooked up. The last thing that we need for this is some power. I've got some power poles over by the coal, so we will take the coal poles. We put this here. Oh, that works out perfectly. Boink. Except we have run out of power poles, so that is not so perfect. That's okay, because power poles are easy to make. And boink, boink, and I guess we need one more power pole down here. There we go. This is kind of an early game way to make sure that we have full coverage of power and lights and everything that we need. All this lovely stuff. We gotta get a couple of lights around here. Yeah, so we got our coal going, we've got our iron running up to where we've set up our new smelter, and obviously our smelter also needs some lights. Let's see, where do we want to put these? How about there? And we are waiting for our iron to arrive. We're just going to wait and see that this is working. It should be, but wait and see. And then in our next episode, we'll basically copy this a few times to set up smelters for copper and for stone. Eventually we'll set one up for steel as well. This is just all kind of like starting area stuff. This isn't going to be where our final base is. We're just trying to get enough resources to build the things that we need to set up, like, for example, trains and stuff, so that we can go exploring for bigger resource patches, because these are tiny resource patches and are not going to last us very long. So now we see that all this ore is coming in and kind of stockpiling a little bit as the ore in the furnaces cooks. This belt has now become fully saturated, which means that each of these furnaces is going to stockpile up to 100 plates. So I have tons of plates now, but as we come through here, we can just grab all of these plates instead of having to run all the way down to where the iron was before, and grab it from there. I'm just going to toss in a couple of lights here too. And now you'll see that our power is starting to peak, over there. So the first thing that we're going to do in the next episode is going to be to bump up our power a bit more. So, that in mind, thank you very much for watching this episode of Tundra Terror, and I will catch you next time.